They're all in the gate. They're off. Dick Best going for the lead. Double Thunder came away well. Where the Day Go moves up third. Global Empire and City of God complete the field of five as they make their way into the first turn. Dick Best has the lead. It's Dick Best leading the way around the turn. Double Thunder racing second. There goes Global Empire slipping through to be third. Where'd the Day Go fourth? City of God fifth, 5 lengths behind the leader as they begin their journey on the backstretch quarter, 24.87. And on to the backstretch they go. Dick Best shows the way. In second position, Double Thunder. Up on the outside, Where'd the Day Go is third. Global Empire fourth. And City of God is the trailer. They've got 5/8 to go. Dick Best keeps the lead a length. Double Thunder racing in second. Where'd the Day go third? Global Empire and City of God. They continue their journey now into the far turn, and Dick Best keeps the lead. And around the turn they go. Dick Best leads by 2. Double Thunder Racing second by 4. Where'd the Day go third? City of God trying to rally on the outside fourth. Global Empire on the rail fifth. They come to the top of the stretch. Dick Best with Double Thunder not giving up, still right there second. A long gap to the others. Around the turn, they're in the stretch. Dick Best has the lead. Double Thunder moves right alongside second. Inside Global Empire, far outside City of God, and then it's Where'd the Day go? A furlong to go. Dick Best has the lead and holding firm. Double Thunder chasing second, far back to the others. They're coming down to the finish. Dick Best won by a little more than 2. Double Thunder second. Then it was City of God. Global Empire. Where'd the Day go?
Good morning, guys.
Hi, there's everybody.
Hey, I had to show that replay, and first of all, it was a great win for Dick Best, and secondly, though, he's not going to be running in the starter series. I think he ran a little bit too fast off the bus. So
how was he not favored that race?
I don't know. He was 7-5, and I was scratching my head too. I actually didn't bet a lot.
That's why he wasn't
Well,
favored.
maybe that's why. Yeah.
Well,
every Simonovich horse opens up with money on it.
I actually took some money off because I'm like, I don't want to bet this much money on a 3-5. It just kept going down and down, and then I took some money off, and maybe that's what happened. I don't know, but yeah, it sucks that he's not going to be in that race today. I think Double Thunder just kind of jogs in there. Good for him, but it's a mile and an eighth, and you never know what might happen in a spot like that. And maybe he ran a little bit fast too last time.
I agree with that for sure.
Yeah. So I wasn't going to spend too much time on that race. I just wanted to show that replay. But if you wanted to dive into it before we start into some of the other stuff, it's up to you guys. But sounds like that's a no.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine with talking whatever. I was going to suggest, because we have that late pick 5 carryover, that if we want to discuss that sequence and then maybe discuss it. I know what you're laughing at. You're laughing at the comment.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure people can see down below. That we can talk about that late pick 5 sequence, and then maybe just try to discuss kind of like a broad sort of ticket based kind of on our opinions and like how to structure a ticket.
Yes.
If that sounds
good to me.
We didn't discuss ahead of time. I'm just throwing this out here.
No, that sounds good. I have 3 turf horses that I love today, and those are the only 3 horses I'll probably be betting until I found out about this carryover. So how much is the carryover?
$5,740.
Okay, and what do you think the total pull will be by post time of the first race?
Because it's the late sequence, typically we're sitting between 40 and 50,000. So
good.
That would be my guess for that. I think we do all right for the late sequence today.
I'm gonna try and take the whole pool down.
Nice.
The horses you love better be prices then, Steve.
Well, unfortunately they're not, but 2 of the turf races are in the sequence. 1 isn't. I see race 5 is not part of it, which I'm not worried about that. All right.
Who do you love in the 5th, by the way?
Race 6.
Yeah.
Race 6.
Who do I love in the 5th?
Yeah, I just want to find out.
Well, we could look at that race real quick.
Sure, let's look real quick.
Yeah, let's go to the PPs. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so race 5. Oh boy.
Oh no.
Yeah, let me get all this in here. My bad, guys.
Let everybody get his password.
Oh, that's just a username.
Oh, you're using Mel's password, huh?
Yeah. All right, here we go. Race 5 is a turf sprint. I landed everybody, there's a lot of different, Felix is on the 1. It's a deserving favorite off of that race at Indiana, but a horse that I like a lot is the 4, who I think was well meant here. It came off the turf last time. They wanted to get this one on the turf, and if you remember, the Ravelli horse in there just crushed that field. And they try to get this one on sod. I think this one, obviously, I like Blames on the top or the bottom for breeding for turf horses. And this horse they spent some good money on it. We've seen a lot of horses that they spent a lot of good money on and they turned out to be crap, but it only made one start to try to get it on the turf. They're getting on the turf again today. It's sunny. And I think this one perks up a lot with these connections. So that's where I landed there. I didn't know where you guys were looking.
I think we're the same. I'm actually negative on the one, but I'm not going to repeat what you said as far as honor and principle in terms of intent. Prior to the July 14th race, they'd entered 4 times trying to get this horse on the turf before that, or 4 other times before that, trying to get on the turf. So a lot of intent. Yeah. And then from that debut effort, looks like a turf horse, just kind of physically. Russell runners have been excelling on the turf. That's where the barns had their majority of success. I think Jim went the same way, but I'm not going to speak for him. As far as Millard, a Maverick, the favorite, this is just not a horse to me that looks like a 5 furlong horse from a physical standpoint. Obviously, he ran 5 furlongs last out, but breaks slow. It's done so in every start. Has to make that run from off the pace. Is on the inside. Is going to need racing luck. And in terms of the class, it's more of a lateral move, but I'm with you on the 4. I think that horse is legitimate. And I used a midterm as well, another one that's been trying to get to the turf. I think benefits with the outside draw and a rider change for today's race. So I'm negative on the 1, and 4 and 8 is the direction I went in that race.
Yeah, midterm's who I picked in there. I thought midterm was going to be very tough.
Okay.
They've wanted to be on turf. Patty Miller's wanted to be on turf. Nagy and the Bears is the only other one that might be able to go to me. Outside posts on the turf is a definite benefit. First race on the card on the grass of the day. I just think this one gets away, and you switch to Cohen in the saddle. So I think this one just gets away from the outside, gets away in good order, makes the top, and I don't think they catch midterm in here.
Okay. I like it.
Good race. I mean, playing against the favorite. If the one's favored, it's great opportunities in this race.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think Nagy and Bears will be able to keep up with the 8. I don't think that one's.
I don't think so.
Once it gets eyeballed anyway, it's just kind of. You could say maybe the same thing about the 8, but the 8's been running, I think, pretty competitive in those races. They've been trying to get this one on turf. That's the thing. And
Patty Miller's been high on this horse from the start, going back to last year. It's just been a matter of trying to get grass. They've tried numerous times.
And midshipmen.
Yeah, they keep sticking in, and because they keep cashing checks is the reason they've stayed in on the main track, but they really do want to get on the grass.
Okay.
And that debut last year was so good.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that race. That's worth going back and watch. That was sneaky good. Yep.
All right. So Jim's on the outside runner. I'll take the new shooter here with the 4, making it second start, and we'll see what we can do there. All right. So for the pick 5, what race did you guys want to start with? Do you want to go out of sequence?
Start right with the 6 and work from there.
We'll go right down with starting with race 6. Jim, why don't you start us off again in this race?
Yeah, you catch me mid-bite as I'm eating breakfast here. I started with the 1.
Well, Emily, do you want to go?
No. I'm going, man.
He's going, and I'm going to tail anyway, so I won't repeat on the 1, but that's my
direction. Professor Higgins is the one that I went to in this spot. I mean, you look at this race. I mean, Ravenstown's going to show some speed. I think Dave shows some speed along with Secession. I think Professor Higgins is a horse that just gets a dream trip from the inside because they don't need the lead, so the rail's not going to be as much of a deterrent in this spot. Settle back a little bit early on, come running at him late in the lane, but this is a horse that's definitely intended for grass. I think fits well in here. I think the drop to the condition 30 is something that really fits too. I think Professor Higgins is going to get a dream trip and come running at him late.
Interesting. Are you worried at all about the big turn back and distance?
I'm not. No. At 5.5, I'm really not. 5 furlongs is a little bit tougher with the shorter run into the turn. 5.5 is that full run down the backside. And my belief is kind of when you're going from, say, 7.5 furlongs to a mile, that first run out of the gate through that first turn is basically just finding your position early on anyway. And the majority of the running goes from the 5/8 pole to the wire. So at 5.5 furlongs, just get out of the gate in good order. And then this is a horse that should come running at him, but gets a 16th of a mile to get into stride. So I think Professor Higgins just gets a really good trip in this spot.
My next question would be, I guess for you and Emily, would be, did Ravelli enter the 2 hoping for rain and is going to scratch, or is he going to run this horse?
Last I heard from him, he's running. He wanted to be on the
Okay, he wanted to get on
turf
the
course.
grass.
Yeah. He's been trying to get this horse on turf, but this is another one that kind of like midterm in the 5th race, because the horses run well in races that have come off the turf, is the reason why he just stays in those spots. But this is a horse with intention of getting on grass. Larry's done pretty well with these turf sprinters in the past, as we've seen with no balls and one-timers. So Ravenstown is a horse that he's been high on from the start too.
Emily, I'd like to see where you're going, because I'm kind of looking at one that I kind of like. I didn't really. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I those 2 horses to me are a use. I mean, I have like Professor Higgins would be my top pick, but when we're talking in terms of a pick 5 sequence, because of that cutback in distance, because you're making a run from off the pace, I'm not putting all my eggs in that basket. And I would definitely use Ravenstown because he could just be the speed of the speed in here. So It's kind of, I'm bookending those 2 horses. But the other horse that I'm going to use in this sequence is Succession. I feel like I always say this horse's name wrong, but Succession. He's a horse another one that's really run some sneaky good races, has figures that are on par. In terms of class, it's still a little bit of a test, but this horse has just been doing really well lately. It's coming out of races where he has early speed. He's on the outside, and just another one that the 1 and the 2 probably aren't going to be much value in here, and this one being a little bit more creative than those other runners. But I think those 2 inside horses are kind of the more likely types.
Okay. What do you guys think about the Gulfstream Shipper, the 7 here?
The 7. I was looking at that horse a little bit too. I mean, this is one of those where it's interesting for this barn because the horse was at Gulfstream, but came back a little bit later. All the other Weinbach horses came back much earlier in the meet. This is a horse that just recently got back into town. You see the one work over the racetrack there. So I tend to wonder if they've been looking for a spot, trying to find the right place to go in that, and then finally the spot just came up. I don't know. I want to see a race over the course there. It wouldn't surprise me by any means. Might actually get a pretty good trip from just off the pace. But I was just kind of a little surprised that this didn't come with the remainder of the string much earlier in the meet.
Interesting. And as you know, the Hawthorne turf course is a lot different from the Gulfstream one.
Yeah.
The Gulfstream one's like a magic. It's like a AstroTurf, and
it is.
Hawthorne's got nice lush.
Course, yep.
Yeah, nice and lush over there at Hawthorne. What about the 5, guys? I mean, I kind of like this runner here. It's one that I would want to throw in as maybe a C on your ticket. I mean, hasn't done anything really wrong on the turf and sprinting, and that last race was pretty good.
The race was good, but this is just such a big step up in class. I mean, this barn is definitely dangerous with turf sprinters, but it's a big step up in class to take on winners. Poncho Attack just hasn't really run a fast race compared to the other horses in this field. So it's one of those things that it's not an impossible horse, but I would use as a C. Jim has the horse at 8-1 morning line. I would use this horse as a C if it's like 30-1, 40-1, something that is just like maybe even if he's 8-1 on the board, maybe he pays more of like a 30-40-1 in that pick X sequence. So that's something to keep in mind. But just in terms of a contender, lighter on class, lighter on speed figure. So is an outsider in here, but I would never talk anybody off, a big price, because that would definitely, getting a horse like Poncho Attack home in the first leg, how many tickets you've just eliminated from that.
Yeah, I just feel like you could just draw a line through all the dirt races, and I mean, it ran down Nagy and Bears, who we kind of ripped on earlier. Doesn't like to fight in the lane. I thought Black Russian was going to run better that day. He was too far back, but that was a look. When you win by 5 in a turf sprint, that's, to me, it's an eye opener, and this one might be moving forward. It's only run 4 times on turf in its whole career out of the 14 starts. It's hit the board in every turf sprint, and when you say it didn't run fast on the Beyer speed figure scale, it did get a 74, which is pretty good. And I don't know, it's one that I'll add on my ticket.
Like I said, I'm not talking anybody off a horse that's going to be a big number ever.
Yeah. By the way, Dastardly Deeds, the 9 is scratching out of that spot. They re-entered for Thursday.
The 9 is out.
Yeah.
Okay.
A non-factor in the race, but just a thought. I was actually surprised the 10 entered as MTO, because that was a horse that was wanting only turf earlier on in the meet and was scratching when races came off the turf. So a little bit surprising there with We Miss Arlington.
Oh, that
Yeah,
is
that's
interesting.
one you would have thought would just kind of run and even at the worst get a check or
Right.
maybe even claim.
Right.
But
Okay.
can't win if you don't play.
Right.
Well, we got the state-bred maidens. I think when I glanced at this race, I didn't really want to dive into it too much, but I think I liked the two outside horses. But I'll let Emily. You want to start with this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's sort of, I mean, without getting too much outside the box, that's where you have to start. I mean, Lally going to be a really short price, has some of the stronger figures in this field. He's been favored in those last two races. And part of the reason they were favored in those last two races was the race going back to June 1st, which earned a strong speed figure. But if you look at the race that day, Lally was 18-1. Was on the inside, had a lone trip, had the track profile in their favor. There was weather conditions that day. It was raining during the race. The course was tough to make up ground. So that was the type of race that kind of got the horse flattered. Now they've run well since, but again, had the race on July 11th where the pace was just okay and wasn't able to hold as the favorite. I think, Lally probably catches the right group in here, probably best chance to win. As far as Sanitarium, just could be a very live first-time starter, has strong works. Now, is a 5-year-old mare that's going to make a debut, but, like Metallica says, tough to leave this one alone.
Actually, it says six.
6, yeah.
6-year-old mare. Sorry, 6-year-old mare.
Holy cow,
looking
Jim!
to
This
come-
horse isn't allowed at Oaklawn.
I know.
They
and it's
don't allow 6-year-old maidens over
and is
there.
only 4 years
Yeah.
away from not being allowed altogether at Woodbine.
So it's one of those that it's tricky, right? Because that's kind of that gives you cause for pause right there. But then at the same time, if it's taken 6 years to get a start, you'll probably have this horse race ready because you're going to have to come out running. So it looks like a live first time starter. And then the same thing, the other horse that's kind of a wild card to me is Jackie K, number 5, going out for Manny Perez.
Yeah.
The barn is not one that has like super flashy works, and they often look like this. So it's one that I would look kind of at the doubles to see if there's some action. Obviously, we won't get a chance to look at them on the track, but it's just one of those that if you have some reservations with Lally in this spot that maybe gets run down, who's it going to come from? Like that type of scenario. So I give a little bit of a look.
That horse has a couple of nice siblings. So, and that's one I was going to say, Jim, like, who's the horse that can blow up the tote board and get us the entire pool for the pick 5? And the 5 might be one that we throw in, or are you looking elsewhere?
I'm not using that horse anywhere. 40 and 4 for a 3/8 of a mile drill is really slow. I mean, all these works. 40 and 4 is the limit. That's the limit they give you for 3/8. So if
maybe he asked it and he actually worked the horse
over the track.
But to me, like looking at the Manny Perez runners, that's how their work tab always looks to me. And they don't always win first out. It's a very low percentage barn first out, and perhaps that's why.
Yeah.
But
for me, the intriguing horse is the inside horse. If you want to go away from the other two, I mean, I went to the 7 on top only for the fact that this is a horse that, again, it's a 6-year-old starting first time out, but they're not running for maiden 6250 or maiden 10. They're running in the maiden allowance, so they're going to give that a shot there. Isabella's Beauty on the inside, only for the fact that you look, I mean, Armando Hernandez is usually more of a claiming trainer, older racehorse trainer, that kind of stuff. He's just getting into these youngsters, these horses making their first starts out. And the works have been solid. This is a barn that, again, has had a good meet. It's a strong pattern of drills leading into this spot. The inside, I never really liked the rail draw for first-time starters because so many things can happen that don't go well. But if the horse does get away in good order, it's not an overwhelming field you have to beat. If Lally gets challenged a little bit early on, there's a potential that that's a horse that could get headed and back out of it. So if anybody maybe jumps up as one of the first-time starters, aside from the outside horse, it might be Isabella's Beauty on the rail.
Yeah.
what about Joy Zella?
If not 0 for 22, I mean, the horse is always consistent. But this is a horse this horse could easily run second or third. I can't pick 0 for 22 on top.
Yeah, but to be fair to Joy Zellen, for anybody that's listening, she is 0 for 22, but looking at the races that she's run in State Bred Company, if we isolate what she's run against Open, which she's back in with State Bred today, she is 0 for 5, and 2 of those are really strong second place finishes. So
Well, the numbers look better going long on the buyer speed figure scale if you're into that. And that did sprint good last August.
those are the races I was looking at, right? Because that's the one where
Yeah.
she's in state bred company, and a lot of the
Okay,
other
that's
ones
a good
I think they
point.
just-
Against state breds, maybe it perks up a little bit, but the state bred races recently weren't as good as the ones last year. Maybe they should just hustle this horse out and get it into the race. You're getting a little weight, which I don't really care about on a sprint as opposed to a route, but Slavinsky maybe can just ask it a little bit. I don't know. Listen, we have a horse in our barn, my brother Mike, 0 for 30 with 5 different trainers. I'm not betting another dime on that horse or on this one.
Hey, scroll down to the 4 real quick.
Okay.
If you want anybody to possibly blow up the board, maybe that's the horse. Just the pattern of drills. Those are good works. You see a lot of gate works there. You see
Okay.
4 gate drills. They want to see speed out of this horse going into that debut. The horse showed a little bit of speed after it says it was reluctant to load. So this is a horse that if they can get away in good order, load and get out of the gate, maybe is a little bit of a factor. But 47 and change down at Fairmount Park is a snappy drill. That's a little bit deeper track. They usually don't work that quickly over that racetrack there. You're going to get a price on this one. So Murphy's combo wouldn't surprise me. So now we've kind of talked everybody into using 6 horses in the sequence based on this race.
Well, hell, I think it might just single the 4. I mean, you're right about these works. They got a bullet going 48 out of the gate. Now they don't register bullets for 3, but it went 4 lengths faster than the next work. Now, that was on July 25th. Today's the 4th. Yeah, we've had time to recover from that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you went back and basically after reluctant to load in that debut, you went back, schooled from the gate, got a work out of the gate, and it was a snappy work. So if they figured things out, this is a horse that could possibly even go out there and challenge Lally early on.
And this is kind of a key rider change for this barn too, right? Bella on a board. He's ridden some live first time starters in the past.
And he's a very good speed rider. Yeah, Victor Milan's a very good speed rider too.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, this horse is kind of like one that we should be looking at first. The price. Thanks, Jim. Thanks for the morning line there. All right. Race 8. I have one that I like in here. I'll start off. This is a mile. Honestly, guys, I like Silky Warrior in here. It's 5-1. And I have some notes here. Always kept good company on the turf, no matter where it ran. If you expand the PPs, and you can see it's run at Kentucky Downs, and you got Keeneland and Gulfstream, and Churchill Downs running for big purses. So at Hawthorne, we get the run for 10 on turf. And this is what this one needs. It needs 10,000 on turf at this point in its career. And it's getting back on turf. The last time we saw it on turf at Belterra, it ran a monster race there. And that race at Kentucky Downs wasn't that bad. It split the better. Actually, it ran 5th in a 12-horse field there in a huge race. So we're getting back to the sod. We got Julio Felix, who is one of the best turf riders at the track. And at 5-1, this is the horse I want to land on for my top pick, and I might even single here. Where are you guys at?
That's pretty bold, a single there. Hey. I mean, you can use a few different races, but why not at 5-1? I have that horse in the mix. I thought that was a horse that definitely had a shot off the turf numbers there. I ended up actually going on top to the 3, April's Gem, in this spot. And again, just searching for a little bit of a price, but this is a horse proven at the distance, likes the turf. I didn't like the sprint last out. I just thought it was a bad spot. And you saw the winner of that race. You know that horse quite well there. But that was just a spot where April's Gem didn't belong. The form last year, this horse put together some really nice races on the grass last year. And I just think it hasn't been spotted in the best places here this year. So going back to the mile, going back in for 10, might get the right trip in the spot. You get Olaf Hernandez aboard today. Olaf is at least familiar with the horse. He's ridden it some in the past. So I took a little bit of a shot at 8-1 on April's Gem.
Rigo Rosas.
April's Gem is an absolute use for me for all the things that Jen mentioned, and much better spot in here. The horse that I'm using that is very creative, that I'm going to make a strange case for, is number 1, Think Blue. And Think Blue, from a physical standpoint, watching this horse looks like a turf horse, has never had the opportunity to run on the turf, but has speed on the inside, has numbers, if you go back in the horse's career as a 3-year-old, that fit on par, even the races this year back on April and May that are on today's race par. So the fact that if this horse can transfer their form to the turf, which I think so, based on what I'm seeing from a physical standpoint, is the rail, has the inside, and is completely buried in terms of form. For some of the others, right? Like, no knocks on the horse that you mentioned. I'm using April's Gem. Silky Warrior's coming off 2 straight wins, has a lot to like. So it's a horse that's going to be used, and this horse is not going to be used by comparison. So definitely all my tickets in here. Think Blue will definitely be double digits by post time as well.
Yeah, maybe it is one I'll add because it's never run on turf. It's out of a more than ready broodmare, and I just looked at the broodmare. She was a turf runner, so definitely maybe the surface switch. I'm surprised at this point in its career it's never even tried the sod. So I guess you can't do that at FanDuel.
Exactly. They've only run outside of FanDuel the one race at Hawthorne coming off the layoff in April, and that race was a very good race. Mm-hmm. In terms of race par, it's similar to today, even though today is technically a step up in class. Today's par is a lateral move.
Well, I think you might have sold me to use this one on my ticket because of the unknown, and 12-1. Maybe we get every bit of it.
Yeah, speed on the inside. This horse looks turf to be. Maybe it runs up the track, but if not, again, it's going to be one that I'm going to have there for sure.
Okay.
And he protected the horse in the first race back off the layoff. So switched barns, protects the horse, waves the claiming tag there. So got a race to kind of find out where they're at. Really, the only other real possible speed is the horse right next to it and there to even challenge early on. And I don't know if that horse is nearly as fast as this one up front. I mean, may just be kind of what they choose to do in here, but I don't know if they're quite as quick. So Think Blue could very easily clear from the inside and be in contention the whole way around.
Yeah, the 2 last year would have been formidable, but man, going the wrong way right now, and they're going down the ladder, and no guarantees that one's going to fire when you go down the ladder. Right. All right, so I like who did I like? I like the 6. You're on the 1, Emily, and Jim. What was your top pick? One more
3
time?
Horse.
The 3
horse, April's Gem.
That's right, April's Gem. So we're gonna go. You know what? I'll go 1, 3, 6 in here.
And I mean, other horses that, we didn't mention the 8, Kingsbury's Dream, but that's one I would want on the ticket as well. I think that horse makes a lot of sense in here.
Right. The big question is, do you toss out the 11, the Ravelli horse on the outside with Cohen? That's what you have to make that determination when constructing a ticket.
When you say, should we toss out Ravelli and Cohen?
Right.
That's like sacrilegious. You know what I mean?
Well, but it's one of those things where you look at it. I mean, the horse does have a few turf starts, but really there's a lot of horses in here numbers wise that are a much better fit. The thing about this horse is, okay, you got claimed out of a condition 5 where the horse laid over the field. This horse was a massive standout in that spot. It almost looked like a dump more than anything for Catalano there that day. And Ravelli jumps on it, and he jumps on it to claim himself and give a shot for 10. So it's not like he claimed it for a client in here. This was one that he just went after it for himself and see if they can have a little bit of fun with. So I don't know if this is just taking a shot to see if they can kind of catch lightning in a bottle or not. But I think if you are going to go to try to beat a horse at a time from that barn, this may be the time to do it.
And Larry, they claim a horse for a nickel at Hawthorne. They don't do that often.
No, not a whole lot.
The other thing to think about too is this is the 3rd race in the sequence, and the first 2 legs that we've talked about in the sequence, we feel stronger about some horses at shorter prices that are going to be a use. So at some point, you're going to have to make a decision of which chalk you're going to not include on your ticket, right? Otherwise, if you like the chalk in every leg, you should just punch that heavy. So to Jim's point, here's a horse that doesn't have any edge over the other horses in this field. So why would you take a short price? Has some hurdles, wheels back, and is going to get so much play because coming off a win and the connections. So it's just going to be an underlay in every single scenario when there's horses that we've mentioned that we're ready to move on and not even talk about this horse.
Right.
So.
Well, I was thinking, and Justin's watching. This horse might get what we call the trip of death. The one's going to go from the rail, and this one might be parked off its hip because it has to, get out from the 11 hole, cross over. The one's going to have a big advantage to the first turn. I know we got a little bit of time to get there, but I mean, if you're breaking from the 1 hole and you want to get to the first turn first, I'd rather be there than in the 11. So this one it might not get a good trip early.
Yeah,
so
there's a few knocks for sure.
All right. Interesting little race. We'll see what happens. Race number 9. I didn't really have a strong opinion here. It's a 5,000 claiming event going 6 furlongs for 3-year-olds and up. Who wants to shoot here first?
I'm with you. I'll go quick because I don't have a strong opinion either. I hate the race. The 8-horse Violent Gigi, I thought was the horse that was going to win, and it's just one of those where you look up and down the field. Nobody else has run great. This was a horse that even off the claim has run a couple of good races there for the Candelas barn, and they've done all right this meet. Limited starters, 9 starters, 5 of 9 on the board. I think this is their first win of the meet here, but I kind of like Violent Gigi from the outside.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of the leg that you're just trying to survive and move on from. And, a horse like Violent Gigi is there, makes all the sense. The other ones that I'm going to use in here is the 4. I mean, really nothing super creative. Again, just try to advance into that final leg with number 4, Mon Ami Fuzzy. I think will be maybe a little bit of value, a little bit overlooked, but coming off some 3rd place finishes. And then a scenario where number 5 Hurts So Bad could just get on and wire the field. So that's kind of the coverage in this leg, and just hope it's the right 3 to move on.
Yeah, there's really not a lot in here, and the 8's only got 3 lifetime wins, but you look at it and you're like, it looks like the best horse. I mean, the 1 in its glory day, I mean, it's a 9-year-old.
Yeah, that's why I picked 3rd. I just didn't know if they're going to be ready.
You're coming off of it's an old war horse, gelding, who probably, I don't know, just wants to maybe be a riding pony at some point, but maybe he's feeling his oats today and maybe could upset the 8, but that's the only one I would even remotely think about. I can't get to the 2 because I don't know. I mean, if you think the 2 could just scoot away early, I mean, but the 5's gonna. Yeah, it's just a race I don't like. I'm gonna have to do some soul searching here. I'll just throw the 8 in because I like the connections. Victor exercise rides for my brother, and they're good people, and I'd like to see them get they're looking for the first. Yeah, they're 0 for 9, but they got 5 placings, and it's time for them to get a win here today.
Oh, you're betting with your heart there, Steve.
Yeah, we have to. 8 to 5.
I mean, those races in June are winning races, just bad racing luck. So yeah, I mean, no knocks on that horse.
I mean, just run that same race today. Some of the other horses are gone. Should get it done today. That was race 9. Wow. So the nightcap, I have a horse, man, I don't like doing this. I hate doing this, but let me go to the horse that I like. The 4. I like the 4 here. I hate playing horses off their maiden breaker, but I do give extra credit to horses that win first asking. I know it's a 4-year-old. They probably had some things they had to work out with this runner, but man, the replay was so impressive. And I would imagine that they're going to put a shadow roll on this horse today. So look for that in the paddock and post parade, because it actually jumped up in the air or jumped a shadow or did something. And, David Cohen had his choice because Mojica has days and who he wanted to ride out of the Chris Block barn. The other block runner is the 8 to 5 favorite. You have Reyes on that one. Mojica rode both. Cohen picks the 4. I think they think this one has a lot of talent and they finally got it where they want it to be. And I think it's going to make a statement today.
Yeah, I think they finished the better. I think they finished the better of the 2 block horses, actually. I mean, there was more than enough left in the tank for their last out. They didn't need to ask in the last 16th and won rather easily in there. I picked the horse second. Saint Magnifique is the one that I went to on top, the 7. Price-wise, I just think everything's going to line up for this horse. It's another one that's intended for the grass. Louis Roussel on the turf. You get Julio Felix, just progressed in those recent starts. Races last summer were really good. And this is a horse that I think is a solid racehorse that coming off that last start, I think it just is able to improve a little bit in a field that's not great for a first level allowance also.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on same in Magnifique as well. I mean, improving with each race. It's coming off the layoff, and I think the two other I don't even think I know those two other races that they ran here this season against non-winners of One Allowance Company were just much tougher. It was a much higher race par than what the horse is going to face today. And in terms of timing, probably needed the race on May 25th, and then when they came back on June 16th, the horse was probably ready, ran a good race, but just caught a group that was just. They were just not on the level of. It was just a better race, and they're just finding a subtle change in class, the live barn rider change. I think there's a lot of intent in here. The wild card to me is the 8 coming off the layoff, because you have the unknown because it's closing out the sequence. Like, I don't know what the action's going to be. I don't know what the visuals are going to be. And this horse, I mean, there's so much back class on this horse and speed figures that. Yes, is it the same horse? Who knows? But the fact that they're running an allowance company, they're keeping the horse protected, they're not running for a tag. It's just one I have. Like, it has to be on my ticket. Whether I play it when I have all the extra information is a completely different story, but is definitely one that's going to be there.
Man, I look at the company lines. I know a lot of those horses that ran against.
I mean, this horse ran in great stakes races way back when, you know? So yeah, the numbers are there. I have to use. Again, when it comes to when Jim and I are talking about this race as the finale, and we're able to look at the board and we're able to look at the horses, maybe I'll say, oh, I wasted money having that one on the ticket. But for going into the sequence, I can't say that.
I think I got to give Manny Perez a little text message and say, hey, what do you know about this horse?
I'm going to be asking Emily on the in-house how many days off this horse has been, because that's going to be a lot.
514, I can tell you right now.
There you go.
514.
Now, did you figure that out just now? Or are you a mathematician? Or
no, I do.
Stats, man.
Yeah, on optics we do it by days.
Optics. Oh, okay. Another added benefit of having optics.
Yeah. Well, because we're running like analytics on it, you know, how our horse is performing on certain days and things that you could just look at real quick. So, yeah.
So yeah, maybe I go. I don't know how deep I'm going to go here. I have to really dig deep. I'm going to put my ticket on Twitter later. I'm going to play a pick 5. I don't know how I'm going to do my ticket construction based on all the information. I'll have to go back and watch this show.
Well, can we try to just do some preliminary thoughts right now for our audience standpoint?
Yeah, maybe we can, because we dove into each race. I have my strong opinions that I posted on 3 of the races, or actually 2 of them, but there's a lot of different. I don't know. I mean, let's go ahead. You wanna put a ticket together?
Yeah, we could just talk some ideas. So, like for me playing this leg, the 7 is like a strong A for me. Like, I think this horse is in the right time and place, right field. I think this horse is probably the most likely winner. It's not even like a 1. I'm trying to catch a price. It's 8-1 on the morning line. If this horse was 5-2, I would still say that's fair value. And then I'm using the 8 as a backup, and I'm really not going anywhere else because there's some other spots, and I'm just going to try to survive to get to this horse in the last leg. So that's my strategy to close out the ticket.
Are you guys going to use my 4?
I would.
Okay.
I
Emily,
am not.
You're not. My! You know what? When that 4 draws off and runs in a stake, an Illinois stake, I'm gonna send you a text.
Here's the thing.
I'm gonna go on Twitter and blow you up.
It's not about being right or wrong. That horse can certainly win. It's about building a ticket. And the other legs of the sequence, I really don't have a strong opinion or a big separator or a big price. Maybe that 1 in the other turf race. But the 7, I really, I feel strongly about this horse. So that's my opinion. So the other 4 legs.
Are you using the other Chris block, the 8-5?
No, I'm using.
You're not using any of them. Okay.
I'm going to use the 7 and I'm going to use the 8 as a backup. because that's my opinion of this sequence.
Leaving
And
Chris
if I'm
Block
wrong,
off.
then I'm wrong. But I'm not catching any other like separators, right? Anywhere else on the sequence.
All right, so you have the 7 and the 8.
Yeah.
You know what? All right. Well, the 4. All right, 4 is my A. I'll put 7 and 8 as a B. And Jim, one more time, your top pick in here.
7. I'd only use 4, 7 in there.
All right, so that's what I got there then for A's and B's. So I'm either going to single on a ticket or I'll throw 4 and 7 in there. All right. Well, I have to call Manny. I have to see what he's got going on. Let's work backwards in real quick. The 9th race again. Just to recap, we were thinking
I would only use the outside.
the outside
horse.
But if-
I'm a survive in advance 4, 5, 8.
You're going to go 3 deep in here?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
All right.
I can play multiple tickets, right? There's some I can single the A on the 8 on one ticket, but I would use the 5, and the 4. I would use the 4 probably as much of an A as I would use the 8.
All right. I would probably hope that the 5 will be the speed of the speed and they let it go with Rachel on board. And then the 8. So if I'm going to go 8 as an A and I'll put 5 as a B, and then I'll probably
5 was my second choice in there too.
Yeah, so that's probably what I'll do. I'm not going to think outside those two, I don't think. But duly noted for Emily. All right, working backwards, the 8th race. I have a strong opinion on the 6 as my A. What about you guys again on this?
I think you go 1, 3, 6 then.
1, 3, 6 is April's gem.
Think
And
blue.
I'm
Think blue.
going to
Yeah.
use the 8 as well. I'm using the 1, the 3, and the 8 as well.
So I'll put 1 and 3 there, and an 8 we'll throw as a C if I'm feeling frisky. All right, race 7. It for me. I don't know.
This might have to be a spread race.
Yeah,
It's-
absolutely. I would spread in this race for sure. For sure.
Yeah. I mean,
If you can't trust the favorite, do you want to get beat by the 2? Do you
I
wanna get
really,
beat by
I am
the 5?
warming up to Jim's 4 a lot.
Yeah. I think the 2 and the
Oh,
5 would
I like
be
that
the
a
only
lot,
2
too.
that I wouldn't use in there.
I like the 4 a lot. I think here. A lot of here, the ones that have run a lot that have run like crap, I'm just going to throw them out. The speed fade ones,
Yeah.
the 6, sooner or later they're going to keep going.
Right. Probably 2, 3, and 5 would be the ones I can't use. But when it's ticket construction, then it's your determination of what you want to do with an 8 to 5 favorite.
I don't think I'm going to have an A at all. I'm just going to throw them all in the B category, if that makes sense.
No, that
And then
makes perfect sense.
And then,
I'd kind of be with you. I would use I could make the 4 if I'm going to make anybody an A. I would make it the 4, and then
Yeah.
but I would use. There's not a horse in this race that I'm not going to have on a ticket because I just don't. I don't feel strongly one way or another. If Jim feels confident tossing the 2 and the 5, that makes sense. But I don't have much confidence in here at this point in time. Again, this will be the second leg of that sequence, so maybe we'll get some clues in terms of the doubles. But I'd use the 4 for sure. But I would use. There's not a horse in here I'm not going to use on a ticket.
I mean, reluctant
Especially
to load.
Dave's closed out to a single.
Reluctant to load, and then just probably didn't really feel like being there that day. It looks like it's feeling good now, and gosh, man, if he could just break clean today, boom, you never know.
A lot of what ifs, but yeah.
Race
It's not a great,
6.
it's not a great race.
Yeah.
Race 6. We had a bunch of different opinions here.
No,
I like the
think so.
5.
Not
I
really.
like the 5. Oh, we didn't. Well, I like the 5. Is
Yeah, you like the 5. We were.
I
on
like the 5 a
1.
lot actually, but I just think it's you just draw a line through all the dirt races and it's run. I don't know. I like it
Steve,
a lot. So
let me put it like this, right? If you like the 5 a lot, there's a scenario where you can build a separate ticket where you like the 5, and then you have a horse that you like on the back end, right? The 6.
yep.
So you basically have 2 singles that are bookending the field. It's basically like a double. And then those other races in between, you can just spread where you just don't really, you know what I'm saying? Like not only have that one ticket, but you can play 2 pick 5 tickets where you have the 5 and you have the, so if you're right on those 2 opinions, you don't have to necessarily be right in those other 3 legs. You just need a little bit of racing luck and a little bit of chaos, and you're going to cash, and you're going to be separated from everybody else who's trying to just be like picking the winner.
I mean, Jim, you might be right. Maybe things get slightly spicy and then the one just cuts back and just rolls like a freight train. But man, and 5.5, you're right. I've seen, especially I've seen them come off the pace at 5.5 and win all the time there at
But
Hawthorne.
but remember too, in racing, Steve, just overall, the hardest thing to do is win from off the pace. So many more horses win on the lead or in a
Right.
stalking trip, just based on race scenario, racing luck, how races unfold, and that. So a lot of things have to go right to win from off the pace. Even if the horse gets the right setup, they don't always win. But it's just that's the horse that I think gets the best trip in this spot.
Yeah, so maybe the worst thing in the world is losing the first leg. So I might go 4 deep here. I think we talked about the 7 and the 8
And how do you
And-
toss the 2?
and the 1. Oh my God.
No,
yeah.
the 2 is a use. The 2.
Yeah, we
is-
can't
Yeah, you have
toss.
to use the 2.
Can't
But
toss.
you can
Ravelli.
make a case for 5 of them in here. It's just a matter of how you want to construct things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. 1, 2, yeah.
And you should be really thinking of your construction around where your stronger opinions are, or where you have some idea. And then the rest of it is just trying to get yourself to those stronger opinions in order to cash.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to single in the last leg. I think Towering Storm is going to be I just love that replay. And I'm going to be looking for that shadow roll. And I'm just going to hope that thing moves forward again and just crushes the field. And
Well,
I love
remember
that.
too, Steve, it's only a 50-cent base minimum, so you get the ability to spread.
Yeah. Well, I like to bet a little extra too. I like to hit it multiple times if I can. Maybe do a $2 pick 4. But I'm going to single the last leg. And maybe I'll back up exactas or something. Maybe 7, 8 over the 4 in that last race with some nice exactas if I have a will pay, in case one of you guys knock me out. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, it's us knocking you out. Huh?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You guys like the 7 and 8 in there. So if I have a will pay situation, I'll be going that route with the exacta, straight exacta, $50, 7, 8 over the 4. If I have a nice, like, I don't know, $10,000, $20,000 will pay on a single, I'll throw the straight exactas.
It sounds kind of counterintuitive, but just, for everybody, when you're looking at that sequence in terms of pay, think about what your expected outcome is when you put your ticket together, right? Like if you're spread, but you have the favor on every ticket, what's your expected outcome versus what you're putting into the wager?
See, here's the deal. I'm
talking more general. I'm talking in a general standpoint. I'm not saying you do this right now. I'm talking in like an overall principle, because it, like I said, it seems counterintuitive, but as we've seen so many tickets that get posted, and even tickets I've created, I've had to go back through and say, wait a minute, if this combination comes in, I'm going to spend more money to put this bet in than I'm going to get back out, and I don't want to do that. It just might not be my day to hit if that's the case. Or I think there's a lot of chalk, I'm going to punch it, like you said, for $4, $5, etc.
All right, so I have a 50-cent ticket that's currently $120 with a single and 2 deep in another leg. I might have to shave on one if I want to spend a little extra. I don't like spending more than, like, I don't know, I like to spend less than $300 on a ticket, and that I'll probably only go, maybe I'll do a $1 pick 4. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll shave and do the $2.
Good thing is, too, you get the benefit of 4 dirt races before the sequence starts, so you have an idea on how the main track's playing also. You might be able to toss them just based on that.
That'll help me out on some of the other ones, correct?
I mean, you
Good
should
stuff.
be able to play a $2 pick 5 with the single that you like in the first, Poncho Attack, and the single that you like in the last. You should be able to put together a $2 ticket for under $20 based on those two horses. Doesn't have to be all that you play, but you know what I'm saying? You
I'm
should,
gonna be
so your spread ticket could hit for $1, but if your ticket that you're tighter, that's only going to cost you $20. If you're right on those two opinions, you're going to hit it 4 times.
I think I'm gonna do maybe I'll do the 50-cent ticket, and then like you said, I'll go with my stronger opinions with some of your good opinions, your top picks. I might go a little bit harder on that. So instead of going 5 deep in the first leg, maybe I go 3 deep. Instead of 4 deep in the third leg, I'll go maybe 3 deep there. Shave 2 off the first leg, shave 1 off the third leg. I love my single in the last. I'm sticking with Towering Storm. I'm excited about that runner today. It's facing winners. It's kind of a taboo thing to do, but maybe I'll have egg on my face after the race. But I love the fact that Cohen with the Mohica days picks that runner. Steve's a smart jock agent, and he knows which I'm sure you ask Chris, hey, which horse is better? Boom, Cohen lands on Towering Storm.
Right. And a horse we didn't even talk about that race, Man on Attack, is a horse that has run 2 really good turf races coming into there, so they're going to take some money also.
Is there one more race or something you guys want to talk about before we sign off?
For me, if anything, it's the opener is the only other one I'd touch on.
Okay.
Only for this reason. There's only 5 in the field. I'll tell you, it's very hard to make a 50 non-3 for getting a race to go. So when we got the 5, we said, okay, we're going to use it. But if you look up and down the field, only for the fact that Baxley, is going to take a lot of money from the Ravelli barn. But there's some other horses that are pretty solid in there. I think Good Apple's a pretty solid racehorse. I think Congrats on 50 is a pretty solid racehorse. So just to kick off the day, I thought that was a pretty good race to kick off the card, even if there's only 5.
Yeah, it's a good race. Let's see. Baxley's going to take money because of connections.
Yep.
And, it's coming off of a nice little win at Thistledown. Wow. As the odds-on favorite, the 3.
The 3's not that far off. That's the thing, though. I mean, and he'll be the longest price on the board, I think. But he's not that far off of a horse like Baxley. But Congrats on 50 to 1 ran a really nice race in a race that came off the turf in that last out. Posted a big number, that I think was even better than Baxley's.
I know the horse.
Yeah, in that last start. But that was a good race. I mean, look, you beat Ravenstown in there. Larry the Poet was in that race, and you ended up finishing 8 lengths ahead of that one, I believe, 7 or 8 lengths ahead of that one. So Congrats on 50's going to take action. And then Good Apple on the outside. Emily and I know, were really impressed by this horse right at the start of the meet. The horse ran really nicely on opening day and hasn't really done anything wrong since then. So a horse like Good Apple is a horse that could definitely at least contend with Baxley, and you might be able to catch just a little bit better price if you're playing the early pick 5 also.
Yeah, Emily, do you have any opinions here?
I think there's always that separation of it being like a good race and then like a good race to play, because this race like scares me in terms of a player, right? That's why when I went to Baxley in here, and then I was like, okay, Jim did as well. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better, because I'm always starting with the favorite, and it's like, okay, this horse makes sense. But outside of that, I think we touched on like the few others, like Good Apple hasn't done anything wrong, but I think they're also looking for the right time and place. And if anything, this is probably the right race shape, but would have to get a little bit faster, because Baxley has run faster and Congrats on 50 has run faster. Those two stand out from a speed figure standpoint. So I think this is kind of a tough race to start out, because you have a compact field. You're not going to get a lot of value in separation. And so you have to just kind of like sink in on a horse and just have that confidence that, hey, I'm on the 4. It is the favorite, but it's the horse that's going to get it done. Or it's or Congrats on 50 is going to just rush out from the inside and Baxley breaks a little bit slow like they tend to do. Congrats on 50 is gone. So it's a great race, like every horse in here, but it's a tough race to start up a sequence and play from that kind of tactical playing standpoint.
Yeah, I hate the post on the one, but man, the one ran some classy races at Oaklawn. Henro won the Iowa Derby. I think it's going to benefit from getting on a fast strip too today, and it's fast, and I can't imagine this one not having the lead if it breaks clean, and it's 2 for 2 already at Hawthorne. So I think I would, if you're doing any early doubles or anything, I'd be playing the one horse here in this race.
Good race, definitely a good race. Just
It's a good-
overall
it's a
solid
good
race
It's a
to
tough-
start
it's a
today. Yeah.
tough one. Yeah.
Good
For
stuff. Guys, I am at, I will be playing day 2 of the spa surf. Wait, how do they call it?
Spit it
And surf contest. I had a nice price at Del Mar yesterday at 42 to 1. I'm 22nd after day 1. I saw Frank
Nice.
Mustari up there around, I don't know, I think he's 18th or 17th. So we're both in contention.
How many are in the contest if you had a 42 to 1 and you're in 22nd?
There's 226 people in there.
All right.
It's almost 500,000. It's a huge game.
It's a big,
Massive game.
yeah, 187 grand to the winner. So I'll be diving deep into Saratoga and Del Mar today. I will be playing the late pick 5 at Hawthorne. I'll post my ticket on Twitter, watching with interest there. And we don't have any family horses in. We did have Champagne Mike on the also eligible. Jim, we're trying to get that 25 non-2 life to go. Or, man, let's write like a non-winners of 2 life starter. How about a non-winners of 2 life starter?
We tried it. We put a starter on the extras. I'd have to look at what the conditions were. By the way, Manny Perez yesterday in the racing office actually came in and said Illinois is going to be represented in the West Virginia Derby. I know he is very high on the horse. Manny's high on a lot of his horses, though.
Yeah, McQueen.
So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, McQueen was very good in that last out. Yeah, I mean, it was a really solid race. I haven't looked at the field though, so I'm not.
Well, you mentioned Henro. Henro's in that race.
Yeah.
It's another
is he?
one that there's 6 horses in there, but again, it's like the race that we just talked about, where you have a field of 6 and you can make a case for any horse in there. You know, Dragoon Guard coming off a front running win, that could be the lone speed. A Gate Road, a horse that is coming off the turf, they're going to go back to the dirt, might be what this horse wants to do. I mean, every horse in there is tough. Henro, we just talked about. Dematic, who maybe is the best horse in that race, honestly. Is he a 9 furlong horse? Remains to be seen. But Steve, you should know that horse from Oakland Park.
Yeah, I mentioned it. Really nice runner, and beat the one horse in our first race of the card today.
Dematic's getting faster. I mean, it's a really tough race, but we're rooting for Manny. He's a legitimate long shot in there, but we've seen long shots win, so good for him.
Well, I'm glad we have good weather, because at Saratoga yesterday it was just a mess. 4 horse fields. They wiped out 2 turf races over there. That was frustrating as a handicapper. And I'm used to wagering on mud races at Oaklawn, but I'm always used to it and ready. It's just dirt racing at Oaklawn. I know that I'm going to get a lot of mud, and I'm ready for that. That thing yesterday was crazy. So it's good to see fast and firm at Hawthorne today.
We've had a nice little run. We got lucky last week when we had the stake races and we're able to keep those on. But this week it looks nice today. It looks nice moving ahead to Thursday too, and then we'll see what we get after that. But yeah, nice little run after we had a bad run for a couple of weeks of being off turf, but allowed the course to replenish. So that was definitely a good thing.
Yeah, we have a couple of more coming in. We had 2 come in off the bus from. Actually, no, Catholic Sue. You remember her? She came up. She's a non-2 life horse, so we'll fill a race there with her. And then we got 2 from California coming that we're excited about: a 3-year-old maiden and a really nice allowance horse, Auspicious Styles, coming over. So grass runner. So we're excited about him. And we got I'm there's a lot of horses I'm excited about when the entries come up in the future weeks. So.
We still
Can't wait.
We still have two and a half more months of racing. That's
I know. I love this.
3 starts at least. So yeah.
I love all this summer racing at Hawthorne. Because before growing up, man, it's like cold. I'm in the Gold Cup room. I got coffee. Lisa's coming over there giving me, you know, a tissue. I'm wiping my nose.
It's Lisa's birthday today. Wish her a happy
Oh,
birthday.
is it?
It is.
No way. I'll send her a text.
That's awesome.
Lisa's the best. All right. Well, guys.
Jim used his birthday wish to keep us fast and firm on Thursday, and
How
Lisa
about
used
that?
hers for today. So thank them all, team players.
I know you guys have a big day today. I'm gonna get ready for the spa and surf. The surf and spa.
Get it out.
The
Whatever
spa and surf.
it is, it's 187,000. Go
Yeah.
for it. Win that thing.
I'll be getting ready for that. Frank's in there on the leaderboards. Guys, good luck today on the card. Emily, I will be blowing up your Twitter once Towering Storm crushes the field in the nightcap today.
Listen, it's no ego for me. I want people to bet their opinion and to cash on that opinion every time. No ego, I don't care.
It'll be my single.
All
right, guys.
Awesome.
Good luck today. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like and subscribe, and join us next week on Sunday at Hawthorne.
Awesome.
Thanks,
See y'all
Jim and
later.
Emily.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.